Okay, in case you missed that in the last part of the video, I'm going to undo it. All I'm doing here is highlighting a bunch of content in my page. Oh, by the way, I did not do the home link, so I'm going to browse. And look, right under food pyramid, I'm going to have an index.html file. So I'm going to make a site root relative link to it. Okay, and highlight my entire navigation bar text and insert layout objects, a div tag, okay, or a division. And this dialog comes up, and when I insert this div tag, it's going to wrap around the selection. In other words, whatever I had selected, it will wrap around it. Another thing that I can do here is give it an ID, which is a unique name or an ID attribute. And I'm going to call it div nav and hit OK. And if I look at the code created everything that I would have done by hand. Dreamweaver's pretty good about this. A lot of people don't like editors. I like Dreamweaver. It's a good editor. I think it's a good way to learn Xhtml. So here is my division, starting and ending. And you don't have to change the way that the code is written here. It's the same thing you would do. I'm just showing you some space here so that it's more human readable. And for this, maybe I would indent it a little bit. It's not going to help. And here's what I have, my navigation bar. Here's my home text, and I've wrapped an anchor tag around it. There's my beginning anchor tag with my link information. And here's my closing anchor tag. Alright, so you can follow through this code, and on the division, the ID attribute has been added. And I just called this ID div nav. This is my navigation division up at the top. And I'm going to make sure my cursor is outside of that division before I start. Okay, and I'm just hitting enter. So what we need to do next, we need to have another division, and it needs to have an H1 and a horizontal rule and some paragraphs of text. Here's my recommendation. Fats, oils, and sweets. Just type it out. And we're going to have an HR. Instead of typing an HR tag, this time I'm going to go to the Insert menu, HTML, and find the horizontal rule item. And there we go. And underneath that horizontal rule, I'm going to have some text. So let me go out to the internet and find some text. Fats, oils, and sweets. And here's a site. Why not? Let's go there. Try one more time. Fats, oils, and sweets. So I can copy this text and bring it over to Dreamweaver. And when I paste it, I could just do a paste here. That is not exactly what I want to do. I'm going to do an edit, paste special. And I want the text only. Okay, in case I went to a website where it had a bunch of information in a paragraph with a bunch of XHTML code or HTML code, that would have been copied to the clipboard, and I don't want that. I don't want all that stuff. I want just the text. So I paste it in there. Looks like I pasted it in the wrong place, but no problem. I can highlight it and just drag it and move it. What else? On the sample fats page, there's it looks like that's it for now. Now I want to put all of this stuff in a division, so I can highlight it all, insert, layout objects, div tag, insert. I want to wrap it around the selection, and I want to give it an ID. And I'm just going to simply call this div01. I'm going to give it a generic name here, just the first division of my page, because guess what? I'm going to copy this page 5 more times. And I'm going to change the content within each one of these divisions for each page. Once for the fats, milk, meat, veggies, fruit, and bread pages. So the content will all be different, but the division names will be the same and not specific for each page. That's it. I go down here and start my next section. This time I'm going to have, well, you know what? I can come back and code this H1. Let's do that. Fats, oils, and sweets. On the property inspector down here at the bottom, where it says format, I can change it from a paragraph to a heading 1. That's cool. Okay, now I'm ready for the next section. The next section is just the fats by itself. So fats, and it has an image. And if I want to add an image to my page, let me expand the fat folder, and under it I saved some images in the previous video. And what I can do now is drag this image of fats out onto my page. And it asks me for alternate text. This alt text is the alt text attribute, and you have to put it in to make your page Xhtml 1.0 strict compliant. And so what is it? It's just a description. And I'll just type fats, it's fine. And I don't like where it is, so I'm going to hit enter and look at my sample fats page, and between the fats H2 and the image I have a horizontal rule. So let me go ahead and enter that now. Insert HTML horizontal rule. That's what I want. And you can resize your image. This is not the correct way to do it, but we could do it this way for now. If you wanted to, just drag one of the corner handles and hold shift, and that will proportionally resize your image. Then you could add a paragraph of text, which we will go out and get now. And just for example, I'll go to Wikipedia and grab 2 or 3 lines of this text here. Now notice that that had some hyperlinks in it. Let's look at it. There's a link, and I'm going to be copying all of that over to Dreamweaver. Watch what happens if I don't paste special. All that junk comes across, and if I look at it in the code view, this is the stuff that I don't want. All of the links and all the code that they had added in, I don't want that. So I'm going to undo and go to Edit, Paste Special, Text Only. Okay, and now I just have the text that is desirable. I can take this entire section and highlight it. Go to Insert, Layout Objects, Div Tag. And I do want it to wrap around the selection. And I want to name this div02. And I want this fats to be an H2. And if I look at my sample FATS page, I'm going to continue to do that on down through the page. So I want to look at something else now. I want to start looking at how to create cascading style sheet code. One of the first things that I'm going to want to do is change this font. I don't like this font. So I'll be changing the font from a Times New Roman to a Verdana. And you don't have to change it to Verdana, but I'm going to. And it'll change throughout the page. And I'm going to give probably this FATS division a border. And I'll do that with cascading style sheet code. And let's see what else. We'll give a border color, change the font family, font size, and we'll change the color either just of the border or the fonts in the next video. Right now, the last thing I'm going to do in this video is change this to a hyperlink. So this is FATS, and if I want to make a link to go to this Wikipedia FAT page that I searched on earlier, here's the URL that I found, and I can just copy it. Well, cut or copy. And go back to Dreamweaver. And with this image selected, go to the link field and paste it. And you might recognize this as being an absolute URL. I hit enter, and now it has a blue outline around it. File and save.